Hi all. So today I'm going to discuss an interview question that was asked in Azuga. So the question is, I have to find whether a given string contains a palindrome or not. Okay, suppose I have this string. Now I have to check whether this string contains a palindrome or not. So what is a palindrome? Suppose if I talk about these four characters, so if I read them, so it would be read as A from left. So if I try to read it from right, it would be read as same. A. That is Anna if I read it from left. And if I read it from right also, it would be read as same. Anna. Okay, so such words are known as palindrome. Okay, so I am given this string. Now I have to know whether this string contains a palindrome or not. Okay, so firstly, what I'm going to do is, firstly, what I'll do, I'll check this complete string, whether this complete string itself is a palindrome or not. Okay. So for this, I'm going to check this particular complete string is a palindrome or not. So the starting index would be 0, obviously, because I'm considering the complete string. So starting index of checking would be from the 0. Okay. Now, if this string is not a palindrome, what I meant, if this complete string itself is not a palindrome, what I have to do, I have to just reduce the length of my string. So initially, the original length was 6 and I did not find any palindrome in this length 6 string. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce the length of this string by 1 and now I'll be getting the length of 5. Now in length 5, I'll be getting 5 characters for sure. So how can I read 5 characters from this string? I can read the first 5 characters like this, X, Y, A, N, N. So it would be 5. And the other way to read 5 characters from the same string is from Y. From Y. Y, A, N, N, A. Y, A, N, N, A. Okay. So if I take the first case, the starting index is going to be for sure as 0. And if I take this as the 5 characters string, so it is going to start from index 1 obviously, 0, 1. Okay. Now, if I still do not find, see, XYANN is not a palindrome and YANNA is also not a palindrome. Okay, so if I still do not find a palindrome in the five length string, so what I need to do, I just need to reduce the length by 1 again, and now the length would be 4. Okay, so for 4, how many solutions could be there? 3 solutions could be there. Okay, so first is XYN. See, length is 4. So XYN, that is I'm starting from the first position, that is XYAN. Okay. The other solution could be from the index 1, that is YANN. And the other solution could be from index 2, that is ANNA. Yeah. So this time I find the palindrome in it. Okay. Similarly, I have to go till length 2 because I cannot consider length 1 palindrome because every alphabet can be called as a palindrome itself. Okay. So I'm not considering the 1 length string. So at least we can consider 2 length palindrome. Okay. Okay, so let's start coding for this. So first of all, I'm going to create a class, public class. I'm going to name this class as main. Okay. Now I'm going to write a main method, public static, void main string args. Okay. Okay. So first of all, let's make a method for the palindrome separately. Okay. I'm going to define a method for checking whether the given string that is passed to that method is returning a palindrome or not. Okay, so I'm making a method here, static. I'm going to take the type of this method, return type of this method as Boolean because I have to check whether the string is palindrome or not. So it will going to return true or false. If it is palindrome, it would return true. and if it is if it is not a palindrome, it would return false. Okay, so I'm going to name this method as isPalin. Okay, which is going to check whether the given string is palindrome or not. Okay, obviously I'm going to check a string whether it is a palindrome or not. I'm going to pass a string variable to this string. Okay, so this is the string which is supposed to be checked whether this string is a palindrome or not. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is let's calculate the length of the passed string. Okay, so I'm going to take the length in a L variable of type int, and let's calculate the length of this string. Okay, so I've got the length in L variable here. So next I have to check, how do I check for palindrome? What I need to do, what logic I'm going to use is, I'm going to extract the first character here and check that first character with the last character. Okay, if these two characters are matching, again I have to check the second character and the second last character if these two are also matching. Okay, similarly I have to check the third character and the third last character. So all of these are matching, first with last, second with second last, third with third last, and so on. If all these are matching, then obviously my string is a palindrome. If at any step, if at any step that condition fails, that means any character at some position is not equivalent, is not equal, is not same to the corresponding place from the last. So that means it is not a palindrome. Similarly, here also x, the first position, and a, the last position, are not equal. Okay, so that means it is not a palindrome. Okay, so I'm going to code for this. So what I'm checking is I have to iterate from the starting, and the starting character would be checked with the last character. Okay, so I'm taking a int variable which would start from 0 and see till what I have to check till middle of the array, because I'm checking first character with the last character. So I do not need to iterate the whole loop till the last element. Okay, I just need to iterate it till halfway. So x would automatically get checked with this last element. Y would automatically get checked with the second last element. So no need to iterate the for loop till here. And a would automatically get checked with the third last element. Okay. So yeah. So I'm iterating till what? Till length, whatever the length of my string is, half. Okay, till it's half. So I'm using here L by 2. Okay, now I plus plus. Okay, now what I need to check, I have to extract one character at a time from that original string. So how do I extract in Java? With the help of dot caret method. Okay, so I'm going to put a dot caret method over the string that is passed to me in this method, that is s. So s dot char at what position? At position I. Okay, I'm going to check this, and I'm going to put a if condition. Okay, I'm going to use a if condition over this, whether if the character at position I is not equal to the character at position last. At character at position last. So how can I get to know the index of the index of the last character? The index of the last character. How could I get to know? So the length is L minus I minus 1. Okay. So suppose the length of this string is 6. Okay. So the first character, that is character at position 0, I have as x. Okay, I have to check with a. So what is the position of a? that is 6. How can I make 6 with the help of formula? So L, that is the length of the original string, that is 6, minus the current position of the loop, that is 0. So 6 minus 0 would give me 6. And further minus 1 would give me 5. So obviously indexing starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the last character position would be 5. So this thing is correct. It is giving me 5. Okay. So if at any position if at any position the first and the last character are not equal, or the second and the last characters are not equal, I have to break from there only, because I'm not going to get a palindrome out of that string because the characters are not matching. If the characters are not matching, that means that string is not a palindrome. So if at any position the characters are not equal, I have to just break out from there. I have to just break out from there. I'll put a flag here, f equal to 1, which is indicating that the string is not a palindrome if its value is 1. So I'm going to define one variable named f, and I'm going to initialize it with 0 initially. Okay. So if at any position the characters are not matching, so in that case, the string is not a palindrome. So I'm indicating with the help of flag variable f, and if the flag value is 1, that means the string is not a palindrome. I have to break out from there at that very point, because further do not need to check further the rest of the string, because since I got the two characters are not matching, so I do not need to check further. Okay, so I have to break out from here. I have put a breakpoint here, so I'll be coming out of this for loop at very instant. Now I have to check if f equal to 0, that means at no position, at no iteration, my loop, my control came in this block. At no iteration, my control came in this block. That means always my f value remained as 0. That means I got a palindrome out of that string. So if this is the case, I have to return what? I have to return true. And if at any point I came in this block, which is indicative of the fact that my characters at some position did not match. And that flag value 1 is indicating that same thing, that if it is returning 1, if it is 1, so that means else the string is not palindrome. So I have to return false in that case. Okay. So this was the method to check whether the given string is palindrome or not. Okay. Now coming here, but our task is not to check just complete string. I have to find whether any length, any string of any length is existing in there, which is a palindrome. Okay, so I have to write a logic for that here in the main method. Okay, so suppose I have some string here, string, sorry, string s, and let's give its value as same, control v. Okay, so now I'm going to calculate the length of this string similarly with the same method, s dot length. Okay, now see, let's come to this example. I had this string that is x, y, a, and n, a. Okay, so initially I'm checking the complete string. If I do not find a palindrome in this string, I need to reduce the length of the string by 1. Okay, so now the length becomes, initially it was 6, now the length becomes 5. Okay, now I have to check all the cases of length 5. So the first solution could be x, y, a, and n. The other possible solution could be y, a, and n, a. Okay, so again we are not getting any palindrome in these two strings. Now, if I do not get a palindrome out of this 5 length string, so I again need to reduce the length by 1, and now the length would be 4. Okay, so for 4, all the possible solutions are this, and I in this last solution I find the palindrome. So what I have been doing is I have been reducing the length by 1 at every iteration. So same logic I have to use here. Okay, I have to make changes in the length one by one. So I'm not going to make changes in the original length variable. I'm going to take one more variable named as L, and in that variable I'm going to store the length, that is Ln, so that I can make changes in this L variable. So initially L is whatever the value in len variable is. Okay, so one by one I have to reduce the length. So see, till what length I can check whether the string is palindrome or not? Till length 2, because length 1 string cannot we cannot actually call it as a palindrome, because all length 1 string are palindrome only, because single character would always be a palindrome, so do not need to check that. So I'm not taking that I'm not taking that case. At least I'm taking 2 characters for checking my palindrome. Okay, so that's why I have put the base condition as length greater than equal to 2. Okay, now if I do not find my palindrome in that length, again I have to reduce my length of the string. Okay, now coming here, so as I had told earlier, for the original string, how many solutions are there? The original string itself, that is this, so only one solution is there. If I reduce the length by 1, that is the length 5, so how many solutions are there? 2 solutions. If I further reduce my length to 4, then how many solutions would be there? 3. So I have some logic here. For 6, I have only one solution. For 5, I have two solutions. For 4, I have some 3 solutions. So the like formula is going to be like, let me write the formula, len minus L and then plus 1. So this is going to be the formula. See, let's take the first case. The original length is 6. Okay, and how many characters I'm considering for the first case? All the 6 characters. So len minus L, that is 6 minus 6, 0, plus 1, that is 1. So how many solutions are there? One solution. Let's take the second set. In second set, the length of the string I'm considering is 5. So 6 len minus L, 6 minus 5, 1. 1 plus 1, that is 2. So how many solutions are there? 2. Similarly, if I take the last set, len is 6, 6 minus L, that is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So how many solutions are there? 3. So I have to write a logic for this. So I'm going to take a variable k. I'm assigning it to 0. Okay. K is less than equal to how much? C. Len minus L plus 1. Len minus L. But I'm not going to consider plus 1, because I'm starting from position 0. I'm not starting from position 1. Since I'm going to start from position 0, I'm not considering the plus 1 case. I can skip that. If I had started the k loop from 1, then I could have used plus 1 here. Since I'm starting from the index 0, I do not need plus 1 here. Okay. Now moving on, k plus plus. Okay. Now I have to I have to call this method, that is which is checking whether the given string is palindrome. And in that method, I have to pass some string. Okay. So I'm calling this method here. The name of the method is palin. Okay, now what I need to pass in this method is I have to pass a substring. So what is a substring? Substring is a part of the original string. Any part of the original string we can call that as a substring. Okay, so what it is accepting a string. Now I'm going to pass a substring to this. So on which string I'm going to use a substring method? On a string that is the original string, that is s, and I'm going to put a substring method here. Okay, and substring method actually accepts two parameters, the starting index and the last index. So I have to slice my string. Okay, so I have to consider, suppose, only this much of the string. So I have to give the index starting index as 0 and the last index as 4 to come here to slice only this much, that is x, y, a, and n. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. I have to give 4. If I need to take the complete string, so I can say 0, comma 5. Similarly, I have to write here. So the current index I have to, the starting index I have to give as k, comma, till what I have to iterate it, whatever my current position is, like I'm starting from position uh, 0, and what length I have considered for that particular iteration, suppose 6. Okay, suppose 6. So I have to give whatever length I have currently in my L variable, I have to consider that only. So I'm giving k plus L. So it would start from position 0. Okay, it would start from position 0 and all the way through L. Okay, now if this actually returns a 2, whether if this substring returns a 2, that is the give passed string is a palindrome. So what I need to do, I just need to check, I just need to print, sorry, I just need to print that string. So what string I'm talking about? This string. I have to just print this string. Okay, and since I have found the palindrome in this, I do not need to check further because all rest of the palindromes would be lesser than this one because we are starting from the largest string. So this is going to be the largest palindrome only. Okay, so I'm putting a break condition here and I'm going to break from it because I do not need to check further. Okay, now I'll break, I have put a break here. Now I'll come out of this for loop and I'll come here. Now after coming here, I'll check whether f value is 1 or not. Let me just define this f value and I'm going to define it as 0. Okay, so if my f value is 1, I just need to say what? I just need to say what? Just break from here, from the while loop also, because I do not need to consider anymore. Just simply break from here. Now else. Okay, do not need else for this. Now, if after for loop, still I do not find any what you call as any palindrome, I in that case f value would be how much? Obviously 0. I did not find a palindrome at any point. So in that case, I can simply say that the palindrome does not exist. Palindrome does exist. Okay, so everything seems good only. Let's check. Getting some error at line number 39. Okay. Caret I is. Oh, right. See, I got the correct output. I'm getting unknown. Okay, it's not specific to any word only. We can write any string here. Like if I say ABC, Malayalam, Malayalam is a very good city, and so on. Dot we can put the spaces. Okay, now it would return the largest string. See, let's give it G. This is also a palindrome. How much? This is also a palindrome. Space GOOG space. Okay, but we are going to get the maximum length palindrome. That is this. Hopefully, yeah. See, we are getting the maximum length palindrome. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you did not like the video, please hit the dislike button. Thank you.